Morning, YouTube. You are on the lifeboat. This is Captain Calhoun speaking. Still a little under the weather. Still under the weather. Let's not judge the amount of weatherness that I'm under, but I'm under it, that's for sure. Paula D, hello, good morning. Cindy G, Kate Christie, glad to see you. Happy Friday, everyone. Just got a little something for you today. I don't want to talk too much because it hurts, but I didn't want to leave you with nothing. So, how are you guys, Kate, Paula, Cindy? Hope this Friday is treating you well so far. From the same, hello, Pajama Pixie. Welcome in. It's good to see you. I've missed you. From the same paper that we were reading from yesterday, some more thought-provoking ideas. Hopefully, hopefully your defining of recovery went well. Hopefully it, churned up lots of exciting thoughts, lots of intriguing things going around in your heads. Hopefully that's the idea at the very least. Tommy Bird, what's going on? Good to see you. Danielle, DNV. Yo. So I've been drinking lots of tea, lots of vitamin C. If I look better, got some sun on my face. I'm doing what I need to do. And I've been sick for 17 days now. So I should be getting better. Hot darn. Hot dang. I really hope that I don't remember the last time I was sick for over 2 weeks, It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Maybe my diet isn't so good. I don't know. Maybe that's why they tell you to eat your veggies. I jest. I'm just kidding. Of course, that's why they tell you to eat your veggies. Debbie Blair, Jenny, hello. But yeah, same paper from yesterday. Was reading some more of it, and it is hard to read, I have to say. It's a lot to chew. I'll read one paragraph for like 15 minutes and just kind of chew on it, But some more stuff for you. Charlie Mullins, good morning. Listening and lurking, Tommy, still painting. I should get some creative painting going. I'm sure that your painting is less creative, but no sweat, man. I'm glad to keep you company while you work. Thank you, Danielle, for sending prayers and love. They are felt. I tell you what, changes the game for me. So yeah, this yesterday we were talking about the definition of recovery and the lack of a clear definition affecting addicts, people in the field of recovery, affecting lots of people. If we could clearly define it, I think it would have far-reaching impacts. And I was reading further, who has the authority to define recovery? And then it goes even further to say at a personal level, a professional level, and cultural level. Then he goes on to break that down, which again is a lot to chew on, but very, very interesting stuff. At a personal level, a definition of recovery will attract or repel people seeking to resolve alcohol or drug problems. Provide a benchmark for when this state of recovery is achieved. A benchmark meaning like this is where the bar is at, right? When you get here, your state of recovery is achieved. So it's saying at a personal level, a definition of recovery will either bring people in or repel people, depending on what the definition is, right? It'll provide like a bar so we know what we're shooting for. And it'll also convey directly or indirectly what actions are required to sustain this status. I like this. I like this a lot. And then he goes on to give some examples. A particular definition of recovery, by defining who is and who is not in recovery, may also dictate who's seen as socially redeemed, right? So depending on how we define it, I might be a thief or a king. You know what I mean? I might be redeemed or I might be scum, depending on how we define recovery. But to dictate who is seen as socially redeemed, who remains stigmatized, right? Think about addicts that are not understood, which is kind of how the area that we're occupying now, but it is shifting. Who's hired, who's fired, who remains free, who goes to jail, who remains in a marriage, who is divorced, who retains or loses custody of their children, who receives or who is denied government benefits. Now, I don't necessarily agree with all of this, but I understand what he's saying. And what he's saying is the definition of recovery is so important that it's going to affect all this stuff, right? It might move billions of dollars from the healthcare sector into private prisons. You know what I mean? It might move government funding large amounts of it into different people's hands, depending on how we define recovery, right? Now, as far as who retains and loses custody of their children, I guess that is a legal thing. For me, it's a moral thing. You know what I mean? But again, I'm not the judge, so that's I guess why I don't need to disagree with that because this is a logical like it's talking about legalities here, not moral stuff. So I guess I don't need to disagree. Roberta, I'm having some of your wonderful citron ginger honey tea right now, and it's saving my life. I want you to know. I'm gonna have to go get some more because Uncle Johnny put a whooping on it, but it's so good. I understand why. Shout out to Roberta for sending me this wonderful tea, making a huge difference today. Auntie Monkey Pants, hello, hello. Charlotte, Mary, be good. I'm working on it. My throat totally still hurts, and I'm not going to talk too much today, but I wanted to give you something. Cindy G says, "Wow, never thought of a word having such an impact on how it's stated." It's interesting. Like words are how we communicate to each other. With a topic such as recovery, where it's not really well understood, especially by people who aren't addicts. We can't really expect them to understand what we're going through because they've never gone through it, right? I think especially with like topics such as recovery where it's already kind of misunderstood and our understanding of it isn't necessarily benefiting us as a whole, as a society. I think it's especially clear that we use clear language, right? And that's basically what this whole paper is about. uh, Let me see where to go. The title of said paper is where to go. Addiction Recovery, its definition and conceptual boundaries. Now, that title itself is what grabbed me. That's why I started reading this because I love words. I recognize the power of words, right? If I say one word to you, but you are taking it a different way, then we're having two different conversations at the same time. Does that make sense? So, like, I get it, but man, this is really thought provoking stuff. Imagine we do, the government comes out and says, "All right, this is how we're treating addiction and recovery in this country," and like that's like now the government is officially saying like this is how we're going to do things. So a bunch of people are going to assume that they're right, right? A bunch of people are going to just take their word for it. If that were to happen, it would shift a lot of things. The fate of community economies. It's important to recognize that rational arguments for particular definitions of recovery may mask issues of professional prestige, professional careers, institutional profit, fate of community economies. So it's a lot of big words to say. Um, Recognize that like logical arguments. Recognize that people may be using logic to cover up issues, right? For example, I don't know if you guys are probably familiar. Some people are you're either like a rehab person or you're not, right? You either love it or you hate it. Personally, I think that have a lot of potential, but they also are a lot of them are cash grabs. So I think this is kind of what that's saying. It's pointing to your logical, rational arguments for particular recovery definitions may be masking issues of professional prestige, institutional profit. I think that I think this is about insurance as well, but that's a whole another thing. Curious stuff. Goes on to say the answer of who has authority to define recovery will vary depending on the question defined for what purpose. Now, he may have lost me here. For what purpose? What do you mean for what purpose? Does it matter? So he's going to go on and tell me why it matters. He says, given that defining recovery could generate unforeseen and harmful consequences, efforts to define recovery should include broad representation from individuals and members in recovery, individuals and family members, so people who are experiencing it firsthand. I think that's great. Diverse recovery pathways and styles. All right, so bring in the best of all worlds. I also agree with that. I think that's a plus. That's a W. Diverse ethnic communities, policy, scientific, treatment bodies. It's basically saying take the best of everything we know and put it together, which I think is the logical step, right? But then again, it takes people like Mr. William White to compile this information. It takes scientists, healthcare professionals, addicts, ourselves to come together and make these changes and start discussing them with each other, start using this language and these definitions, however we choose to, right? It's up to us to actually make this change. We can talk about it all day, right? The more we talk about it, the closer we're getting to the change, right? But how we move about the world in our own individual lives is really going to be the difference, right? That's the action phase there. How we carry ourselves, how we speak to each other, with this knowledge in mind. But again, this is like a like an argumentative paper, right? He's trying to present a position based on lots and lots of facts, right? But also a lot of it's conjecture, right? It's like a paper all built around one hypothesis, and that's that the definition of recovery isn't great and it could be better. And the defining of recovery will have huge impact and far-reaching changes. So I agree with all of that 100%. Now this is only, I don't know, 6 paragraphs deep. This is a monumental paper. I'm going to leave you guys with that today, but I'm going to take a lot of stuff from this and we're going to talk about it, because Mr. William White, I really like the way he's thinking, what he's talking about. I approve. Captain approved. Oh my gosh. Pam, hello, hello. That's why people say it's not what you say, it's how you're saying it. I agree. Very astute. Mary be good. Scout's not English. Hello, hello. My mom would totally agree. Scout says, I love the rehab. Best thing I did. 3 years sober next month. Let's go. Congratulations. That's a big deal. 3 years. This is the official lifeboat participation trophy. I think 3 years is it's pretty friggin' sweet, man. I have to say. My mom is an alcoholic, says DNV. Right now, she's sober, but never went to get help. The addiction has gone from alcohol to caffeine and shopping, which is fine. I mean, until you're spending like money you don't have, right? But I mean, so in order to get rid of a bad habit, you have to replace it with another habit. That's what they say. I think I agree with it too. So I mean, it's no wonder that she replaced habits. And she doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, need to go to recovery or go to a thing or go to a that, as long as she's learning from her mistakes, right? The difference between white knuckling sobriety and recovery and not is like the learning is the work, right? You can grit your teeth and just like resist the urges all when they come, or you can learn about yourself. You can uncover the root cause of why we were using in the first place. We can learn a whole lot, right, and live a different life, and that's recovery, right, in my opinion. The difference between that and white knuckling is doing the work, right, is diving. So maybe she's doing the work, maybe she's not. I wouldn't necessarily be concerned unless a pattern presented itself, right? Does she constantly drink and then stop drinking and start shopping? Does she go back and forth, or is this like just the first progression? Right? Has she gone from being an alcoholic to shopping and caffeine? Because honestly, I went from alcohol to sugar and caffeine. I didn't have the money to be shopping and stuff, so I could totally see myself shopping. I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing, but things to be aware of, things to think about. Kate, that's so interesting. I hope that you're feeling better. My cough has evolved. It's very dry today. Although I feel like there's a lot of drainage back there. So I'm hoping that it just ceases. That would be great. Kevin Hawthorne, good morning. Good to see you, man. I have to say, DNV says we think she suffers from depression, but she believes depression isn't a real illness. I don't think it really matters whether or not depression is an illness. It could be a state of mind. It could be whatever. Like, are you sad? Are you going about your day running from how you feel? You know what I mean? I don't think we necessarily need to, you know what I mean? Certain words create tension, right? Some people don't like certain words. For example, your mom doesn't like depression being an illness, right? She doesn't like it, being referred to as a disease. Well, let's not refer to it as a disease. We can still talk about depression without stepping on that toe. Are you sad? Are you really, really sad? Like overwhelmingly so. You know what I mean? So it sounds like she has people around her that care about her, that are observing her, that love her. So I think that she's in good hands. It's wonderful that you are thinking about these things, that you're considering her this way. Um, she needs that. She needs you. Y'all need each other. Let's get some ones up for anyone out there who needs a little extra help today. Wharton Fissel, I see you. Hope you're doing all right, man. Piano Mom, hello, hello. Hit my head. Oh no. Hope you're doing all right, man. If you need anything, please reach out to us. Paula, I can totally relate with this. There have been many times in my life where I've kept my true feelings to myself because for fear of ending up in a rubber round room with a jacket with really long sleeves. You know what I mean? So I feel like the difference between being considered crazy and being considered normal is societal perception, which I think is a terrifying concept. Like how people view me is the difference between being a psycho and being normal, right? Now, obviously, doing crazy stuff kind of makes you crazy, right? I'm obviously not doing any crazy things. But if someone were to view what I'm doing as crazy, that's all it would take. Now, I'm not trying to defend any evil people or anything. I'm just saying I can totally relate with like that fear, the fear of being labeled crazy or unstable. But I tell you what, we're here. We're doing all right. Hey, Millie, good to see you. All right, guys. I know it's lean pickings recently with me being sick, but it's how it's going to have to be if I'm going to get better. My throat is starting to hurt way in the back. So I'm going to get out of here. This has been Captain Calhoun. I'm really excited to really dive into this paper with you guys. I didn't even think about reading journals, but medical journals, but we're going to literally have to do a ton of this, like a metric boatload of this kind of stuff. Do you guys enjoy these past two episodes? I know they've only been 20 minutes, but like the yesterday about the defining recovery and today about the impacts of defining recovery. Was that you guys like that? I loved it. I feel like we're gonna do a ton more of it. How's Rolling Stone doing, Eva? Well, thanks, guys. Shout out to the mods, the crew, anyone new. You guys are the best. Love you guys. Oh, you're asking me. I have not heard from Rolling Stone. I thought I misread that comment. I thought you were asking if anyone had come here after Rolling Stones live. Um, I'll shoot him a text right now. I haven't heard from them in a while. Wow, I haven't opened this the whole time I've been sick. Holy crap. You guys have been sending me lots of love. All right, guys. They seem to be all right, all things considered. They hit me up a few days ago, and I can't type. I hate this keyboard. Okay. All right, guys. Much love. I'm going to get out of here. I know I always say that and then I hang out, but for real, I'm leaving. This has been The Lifeboat with Captain Calhoun. You guys have a wonderful day, all right? Treat yourselves nice. You deserve it.